Hello. Welcome to another live The Cherry Top Crafts. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Jessica.
And Ava's here too, down here if you can hear
So
her
if you
talking.
hear your little baby.
Yeah.
We pulled out a lot of different things to try
So
out.
many things.
So whatever you have questions about, just let us know.
Yes, we
Yeah.
have a little bit of everything here.
We have inks, we have sprays, crayons, oil pastels, gessos, texture paste, stencil, acrylic paints,
Wax,
color
did you say
pour, wax, powdered pigments, watercolor,
Everything.
texture pastes, texture
Everything.
butter,
Oh yeah, those are fun.
more crayons.
Yeah, so we don't really
a
have
lot.
a plan. We're just going to be playing with it, making a mess.
Yeah, showing how
Kind
different
of-
things work together.
Yeah.
And then, answering any mixed media type of questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
So bring your questions. If there's something you want us to try out, so you can see up close what it looks like, now is a great time to do that.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna flip the camera around.
We can get
Okay.
going.
Do this. Let's see. Here we go. So I'm gonna be playing around in one of my art journals. I can't remember if I put watercolor paper in here or mixed media paper. It's like a nice thick paper in here though. This is a book that I made with Mini Cinch. Isn't it cute?
That is cute. I'll be using a range of tags. And then I also have a journal that I could work in. I have some tags that I started, but I think need more to them, so I might add more, just to show
Right.
how you can layer up using mixed media.
layering. Yes.
So that's what I'll be probably working in. I like working with tags or scrap paper because I feel like you can just quickly move through things.
Right. And they're small and
Yeah.
easy to work with.
Good
If you mess it up,
testers.
and just
That's
toss
fine.
it aside
Yep.
or do the back of it or So when I don't know where to start, I always start with the stencil.
Yeah.
Like that just kind of helps me
I
I don't know what to do, so I just pull out a stencil.
when I don't know where to start, I go to sprays.
Ooh, sprays.
And I think just staring at a white card or page or whatever, you just need to get rid of that, and then it gets rid of some of your fears around it.
Yeah.
So I know I like using the distress sprays a lot. Here's the new prize ribbon. I might use that.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And I like to use a couple colors with it. Oh, maybe I'll use this. This is the brushed pewter. I think this one's my all-time favorite spray because it's a little shiny. So I like that. So I might add a little of that. Oh, I also like the speckled egg spray.
Oh yeah, that's good too.
Yeah. Let's get going.
With
With these, they do react with water too. So I'll usually spray it and then I'll add a little water and it kind of changes it quite a bit.
so pretty.
Yeah, it's such vibrant colors.
And it's really helpful to have some kind of craft mat around you or next to you. This one is our own craft mat, a cherry craft mat. It is not online yet, but it will be very soon.
Yeah, these are really nice. I like their size and how you can just spray whatever and it stays all on the mat.
Yes.
So that is very nice.
So I'm gonna do. What am I gonna do? I think actually I'm gonna start with some kind of texture paste, something. Because I know there are a lot of different kinds of texture pastes.
There's gloss. There's opaque crackle. There's transparent matte. Those are the Ranger ones. And then there's also Sizzix expanding paste, where you apply heat to it to make it expand. Let's see. I think that's what we have out for texture paste, but then there's also all of these texture butters and all those. So it's colored texture paste.
So I'm going to try to do this one-handed with the baby.
Oh,
I know.
so
Let me walk with her for a minute.
So I have my tag here. I just sprayed it, and now I'm going to add a little bit of water to it because then it really gets all of the sprays moving again, and you can really see everything move around, and it changes colors a little bit. I especially noticed that with the darker sprays, where if you spritz water on it, it can lighten it up only in certain places. So while this dries, I'm going to move it to the side, and so that's how I make a lot of these backgrounds. It's just by doing that. So I'm going to grab one of these done backgrounds, and I will add some texture paste on it. I'll go with this one. So, grab a stencil. I really like these Tim Holtz layered stencils. They're perfect size for tags. I think I'll start with that. And I'm going to go for the opaque crackle. I love using the crackle paste because as it dries, it actually does have little cracks like in the paste, which I think is so cool and adds such a fun texture. A lot of times when I'm adding texture paste over a stencil, I don't fill the entire area. Rather, I just loop around here and there. And this changes based on what I have on the background and what I already have, like what I want to show from the background and also what the stencil looks like. So this is a more organic shaped stencil, so it doesn't really need all of it to be able to see it. There we go. There's that. I have a stencil bath right next to me because this would harden on the stencil and it could ruin it. So I'm just going to dump this into the bath, which I really like to do when I know I'll be going through a lot of different mediums and just working quickly. It's nice to have just a stencil bath to just throw everything in there and worry about when you're done making. So here is it right now before it is dried. It looks like just a paste over it, and I'll show it to you in a little bit again after it has dried and it has those crackles in it. So let's see, what next? Do we have any comments of what anybody wants to see? I will grab maybe, one of the new things that I just started doing is using Color Pour Magic paints in my mixed media pages. I think they're really cool. So what the Color Pour Magic does is it's like an oil in the paint, so it kind of breaks apart a bit, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. When you are doing a color pour painting, usually you use a lot of it, but for this, you don't really need that much. And as I paint, it seems like very thin paint, but then it kind of bubbles out. So this has been a new painting there, because I've always made the color pour paintings, But I think when you grab it and use it for mixed media, it just opens up a ton of new possibilities that I think are very cool. So you'll see it in just a second how the cells are really breaking up in the paint. Okay, I'm going to let it dry just a little bit. Also, adding heat to the Color Pour Magic also helps the cells break up a little bit. It's not fully dry. And I don't know if you can see, but there are like little circles everywhere. Like they're very faint, especially where the paint is thinner. There's little circles. So I think that's a fun one to add to your mixed media toolbox. Let's see. This one's almost dry. Still let it dry a little bit more. And move on to the next one. I think on this one I will use, let's see, another stencil. Stencils are a big one for me personally in mixed media. I love using stencils. I know some people like using stamps a lot more. I'm definitely a stencil person. Okay, I'm going to use this. This one already has its background on. And then I'm going to use this as a stencil. And then I'm going to use some texture butters, or stencil butters. These are from the Crafters Workshop, and they are beautiful. They spread so nicely. If I wanted this to be really nice, I would tape down this stencil so it doesn't move while I'm working on it. But I guess I'm not too worried about it. So here we go. I'm just holding it down pretty firmly and spreading the paste over it. I'm going to my next color. Decided to use this teal because, or I guess it's the turquoise, because I think it'll stand out really nicely with my yellowy, orangey background that I already have on here.
Looking good.
Back with the baby.
Trying to get her to sleep.
Yeah.
Feels weird.
She wants to see the class. Okay, and we're pulling it off. And there that is. See how cool that is? And this butter is really nice. It has like a little shimmer to it. I don't know if you can catch that. There we go. There's another tag. I've been wanting to make a tag book for a while, so that might be what I'm using all of these tags for.
Ooh, a tag book.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Okay.
I mean, would you
is
like
that?
put photos in it too?
Maybe, yeah.
like a,
I've
like a
seen,
tag mini album?
yeah.
I've seen those.
Yeah, those, I've seen some very cool, like tag mini albums or tag,
Yeah.
or they can even be like art journals,
Yes.
like tag art journals. So like you work on the tags and then add them together at the end.
Okay. Cool. All right, I'm gonna try to do this one-handed because this is real life crafting with a baby. I was going to just kind of do the different texture paste so you can see them kind of up close what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna use probably a palette knife.
Great.
Let's see, let's do the gloss one first. And they're all different kinds of texture paste, different brands, and then most of them act very similar. They just have like different finishes. So this one is going to have a glossy finish. If Ava lets me do this. And just take some with your palette knife and just go right over whatever, a stencil you're using or just an area you want to do.
And I am going to use some Distress inks to ink a background stamp. And then we'll see from there. So use this.
Pretty. So that was the gloss. Let's do the crackle.
Okay, here's this. My block is a little bit smaller than my stamp, but I think that's okay.
Oh, yeah. Another thing I wanted to mention that you can mix inks and paints and whatnot into your texture paste, like before you use it too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do one like that. I'll get some of the crackle, and I'm just gonna put it right here in my craft mat. Find a spot that you're not gonna put your stuff in, your notebook cover in. And then I'm going to take some, let's see, the new prize ribbon color. This is just a distress ink. So I'm gonna put just a tiny bit in there. With the ink, a little goes a long way.
And with mine, this was what the stamp looked like, just inking it and stamping it. And then I still had quite a bit of ink left on my stamp, so I spritzed it with a little bit of water, and then stamped it again. And actually, I like this second stamp even better than the first. So one of the great things with the distress, well, most of the distress stuff is it works with water. So I'm going to just spray this a little bit and grab a paintbrush and just blur it around a little bit. There we go. Right.
Ooh, that's fun.
Been waiting for this one to dry because I want to add some more layers onto it, but it's just taking a very long time.
It's hard to be patient.
Yeah. Right.
So I mixed together my ink and my crackle texture paste, and I'm just waiting for Ava to give me a minute. See if she'll let me put her down. Hey. Hey.
Stamperia also has these new acrylic paints. They come in, it's like a whole set, and there are some really pretty colors in here. So I wanted to use some of these. I actually haven't used these yet.
Oh, yeah, me either.
And with these craft mats, you can also use them like as a palette. So you could, add a little bit of paint on the side here and then paint away on it. I just added paint straight to my tag. I think a big part of mixed media or just playing, like right now we're doing a lot of just playing, is don't try to plan things out too much. Kind of go with the flow and
Right.
see what happens.
Yeah. A lot of times you just don't know until you try and experiment. I mean, look at this blue that I'm getting. I didn't realize it would get this color. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It lightened up a lot because of the texture paste. So this is a really nice dark blue and
just lighten it up to like a white baby
texture
blue.
paste.
Yeah.
And, so with the crackle texture paste, you have to wait for it to dry to really see that crackle result. And then if I'm just like kind of quickly cleaning something off, I'll just use a baby wipe and wipe it off. If I'm just going to use it again, and I don't mind a tiny bit still being on there. Comes off really easily.
I also wanted to play with, so there's a lot of different types of crayons.
Yeah.
There's the Vicki Boutin art crayons, which are water soluble. There are the Tim Holtz Distress crayons, also water soluble. And then the new Vicki Boutin gel crayons, again, also water soluble. So all of these you can add and draw with and make really cool marks with, and then you can also go in with water and add even more to it. We also have these oil pastels, which can be drawn with and are not water soluble. So if you want to draw something and add water and it not to move around, then you'd use this. If you want to add water and play with it, then you would use one of the crayons.
Yeah, good to know.
So just adding some scribbles on here. I think the Tim Holtz and the Vicki Boutin crayons are pretty similar, just how they draw. And then the gel crayons are a bit creamier. So if you don't know which, you could just grab them both and kind of see how it works. But they are pretty similar. I guess go with which colors you like best.
Yeah.
That's how I make a lot of decisions.
Me too.
Just like
I tend to go towards different blues and teals, as you can see the cover of my notebook. Okay, so I have some of the transparent matte texture paste, this one. And I'm going to mix in some Salvage Patina Distress paint, because why not? And I'm sorry we can't see your comments right now. I still can't pull them up, but
yeah, mine aren't loading either.
After we're done, we will go back through and make sure we answer your comments, just through our Facebook, just replying on there. So you have questions still, feel free to ask them and we will get back to you. And for right now, we will just continue to play and answer questions we think you might ask. Ooh, this is super pretty.
Ooh, that is a nice color.
I like
that was
that.
the patina?
That was
Salvage patina?
Yeah, Salvage Patina with the transparent matte texture
Nice.
paste. So I don't know. I'm just still kind of playing around with stencils.
A big thing that I do when playing with mixed media is I like collaging. I often use this multimedia mat for collaging. This is nice for gluing And also works like a finish. So like if you wanted something a little shiny, you can add this. It also is nice for image transfers.
Mm.
And I like that you can paint it on using a paintbrush. So so you can go over a large area pretty quickly and continue to go over areas. So I'm just going to add a little bit. Oftentimes I also, like if I'm just working with things quickly and I want something glued on, I will also just use whatever paint is already on my page to glue with.
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah, like gesso works nice. I add a few more of these on some of my other tags here.
This is really pretty. Okay, I'm gonna go show you up close what I did so far. You can see that over here is the transparent gloss texture paste, so it's gonna have kind of that shiny finish. Over here is the crackle one. It's starting to crackle a little bit. It will more when it's drier. And then this is just the regular matte paste. And I mixed in the paint, patina, and I really like that color. And then over here, I'm just kind of smoothing on that same thing I used over here. The transparent matte and salvage patina. And like this looks like a really pretty watercolor kind of thing I have going on.
Oh yeah.
And if you know me, I love watercolors. That's kind of like my go-to medium because it's so forgiving.
Yeah.
It's like you mess up and you're like, maybe I meant to look it like that. Look like that. It's just kind of easy to fix or start over. So I really like watercolors.
Yeah, I feel like especially for backgrounds and
Yes,
stuff,
you can make
great.
one so quickly.
Actually, that might be what I do on
So
my next
quickly.
tag here.
Yeah.
Do a little watercolor. One of my go-to watercolors, especially for backgrounds, is the powdered ones. I know we have some color burst out here somewhere.
Yes,
there it is. And I absolutely love these for backgrounds. I will put these to the side, let these dry a little bit. We'll do some more layering with them in a minute.
I'm feeling a little sticky. One of these is stickier than the other. Can't remember which one. Maybe it's the matte or the gloss.
I feel like it's the matte. I feel like it's sticky.
Yeah. But you know what? Baby wipes work great. Bath cleanup.
So this is the Color Sparks from the Crafters Workshop. I'm using Merlot and Turquoise. You will be surprised to see how little of this I actually need. I just give it a few taps. I have the red around the top and the turquoise. Ooh, that only needed 2 taps.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to spritz it with some water.
And that's where the magic happens.
So here you can see where it is right now. It doesn't look like much. It looks like a little bit of dirt on my tag. And then just a couple spritz. Like,
wow.
Instant magic.
Just wow.
Yeah.
Woo. Love it.
I love these. And it's so quick.
Yeah.
And now I'm just going to set that to dry.
Okay.
And it's cool.
That's cool.
I love it
It's
already.
done. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And you can play more with it if you want to.
Look how vibrant.
Yeah.
Just with a couple spritz.
Yeah.
And I didn't really even change anything or do anything
very
special.
beginner friendly. You know, just pick 1 or 2 colors even.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be complicated.
No.
Yeah.
And what's great is there's a lot of different colors like in one color because it's all like little specks, so there's specks of different colors in each one. Maybe I'll do another one and just show you how many different colors is just in one bottle. So this one is the Tarde Varte green. It's the green. So that was like 5 tiny little drops of this, and the best way to apply it is to use your index finger and just tap it. That seems to work really well, and you have a lot of control with it. And then a couple squirts. So I didn't add as much to this one as with the last one because I didn't want it to flow all together as much. But if you can see, there's blues and there's even red in here and yellows, mostly greens. So you'll mostly see the greens, but there's a bunch of different colors in
They're
here,
so fun to play with. So
which
fun.
is really cool.
Yeah.
Those are super cool.
So I just used some of the Sizzix Expand paste. So I layered it over top of the other stuff I had going on. So basically it will expand. It will kind of give you that 3D effect once it's dried. And you can already kind of see it, like it's on there, it's raised.
And then, yeah, with the expanding paste, you add heat to it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There's also another Sizzix, the 3D paste.
Oh yes.
That's more like texture paste. I mean, both of them have
Yes.
texture. Dimensional paste. It's just the one uses heat.
This is the one that uses heat.
The
Right.
expanding paste expands with the heat. The dimensional paste is already dimensional.
Yeah.
They also have.
They're very fun. Just
It's like dimensional
play around.
adhesive,
I
which
can't
is
even
cool.
close this. Make sure to close your jars
Yeah.
if you can.
Yeah.
Pass the dryer. Bless you. Bless you. So I'm gonna be heating up my expand paste. Oh, my crackle paste is all
Yeah.
crackled.
Mine,
Oh, that looks
mine got
so
crackled
cool.
too. Oh, just like crackled little dots.
Yeah, I like it.
Here's my crackled paste. I don't know if you can see it too much, but all of these do have little crackles in it. You can really start to see the crackle even more when you add another color on top of it. So I'll either use like some sort of distress. You can also just spray it. I want a little bit more control, so I'm just going to take Distress Oxide, apply it a little bit to my mat here, then take a paintbrush with a little bit of extra water on it and pick it up, and now I can brush it over this, and it really seeps into the cracks.
Ooh, that's pretty. What color is that?
This was it the twig one? Gathered
It looks
twigs.
like gold on there. Wow.
So you can brush this into it and then even wipe off the ink on the top of the glaze or on top of the paste. So it really just looks like it's down into the cracks.
Right. Oh, I love it. Such a fun look.
Yeah.
Here's my dried, what is it? Expanding paste from Sizzix. You can see that. It looks really neat. And then here's the crackle paste. It's all dried and crackled. Very fun. Next, I was going to use some wax because those are really fun to play with.
Here's this. I feel like the wax would also show up cool on top of the texture paste.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try that.
So I'm going to just grab another stencil. I really like stencils because they can, I don't know, they really show you what each different paste can do.
Oh,
And I feel like it gives it a little bit more purpose instead of just slabbing on. Because sometimes I just don't know what to do. I don't
Yeah.
know where to put things.
Yeah.
So I just start doing stuff with stencils.
This I've actually never used the wax with crackle paste,
Oh.
but look, it's filling
yeah,
in
it goes in
the
the
little
cracks.
cracks. which is very cool.
That is very cool.
I like that.
Um, Here are the waxes. They used to come like this. This is from Prima. And we still have some, I think, in stock like this. But the newer colors and they come in tubes now. It just makes it a little bit easier to use and get them out. But either way, they both work the same. And I think I'm going to use the rich copper. And that'll go great with my blues page that I'm doing here. And I'm getting myself into my stuff here. But look how easy this is just to wipe off. I love it. I'm making a mess.
So,
Just-
yeah.
You just
Oh, yeah.
see.
I've got a mess. I've got a mess.
We're both
definitely.
pretty messy, but Jess is usually more messy than me. Whenever we're done with the class, we look at all of our stuff like, woo!
I've got like a pile, like
Yeah.
a foot-high pile next to me of everything. Yeah. So there's
Ooh,
that.
pretty.
We've found the best way to apply this wax is just using your finger.
Yeah.
You
can use brushes,
yeah,
but
the
meh.
heat of your finger just gets the wax a little creamier
Mhm.
and easier to work with. And
Especially with stencils
Yeah.
too. If you're using a stencil, it just kind of goes in there better. Like look at this rich copper. That is so pretty.
that is pretty.
So I just put a tiny on my finger and I'm just going right into it. Spread that out.
I like you can either depending how much wax you want. I didn't want a ton, so I first put it in a little pile over here, and that's where I grabbed it from.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good way to use it. Now, let's see, what's the next medium?
Ooh, also some white pearl. This one's really pretty.
I am seeing the comments now.
Oh, you are good.
Yeah.
I don't know if I am. Okay. So ask your questions now that we can see you. Mine still is not loading, but that's okay.
Another great background technique, I'm going to use some ink. Just put it onto my mat here. Just a couple drips. And then, let's see, I'll also add, I'll add a little spray. Then I'll add maybe a little distress paint. And then I'll spray some water on it. And just dip my tag in here.
I just love these wax.
So that made like a very cool watercolor-ish
Ooh.
look. So you can do things like that. And you can keep dipping it. And
Yeah,
this
you're gonna
is
get a different look. every
this is a
time.
nice puddle to work with
It's a nice spot.
for a little bit.
Yeah.
Do a few.
Okay, here's my paste. Right here with the small dot. That's the rich copper and the white pearl, which kind of I overlap them a little bit too. And that's fun. It's a little bit 3D, a little bit of shimmer, and I think they're really great for like backgrounds or to put on like on embellishments and stuff. You can kind of put a little bit on there for a nice little metallic finish. I think this page is about done, and I can use it for whatever. I don't have to use it. I can just leave it, or I can use. Actually, this looks kind of more finished. I could like pop a photo right there, or some embellishments, or just leave it. Like
I
you
think
don't.
that's kind of cool. Yeah.
You don't always have to make something. You know, like you can just play and experiment and have like a notebook just for that. Just for experiments.
Let's see, what haven't we used yet?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot from this
see.
then we haven't grabbed.
Watercolors. Watercolors. What else? Paint. Oh, did you use crayons yet?
I did a little brief
Okay.
on the crayons. I didn't really show like all that you can do with the crayons. though.
Okay. I wanted to play with crayons some more. While Ava lets me. Let's see. So,
Good place. And let's see. Oh, I wanted to add more on this tag. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to show some gesso.
Oh,
So if you add gesso, it works like a primer. These are mostly mixed media tags, so they are already good to go for adding paint and stuff. But if you're using a different type of paper, like a cardstock, you really should add gesso first. Ooh, I had some color left in my brush. Nothing like some brown streak
Brown
running
gesso,
through
yeah,
through your page. Okay, make sure you have a clean
a
brush.
clean brush is always good.
And then you can just apply gesso all over it. There's a bunch of different types of gesso. There's white, there's black, there's clear. Some gessos are thicker than others.
Mm-hmm.
It depends what you're
There's like
trying
heavy
to do.
gesso and
Yeah.
like super heavy and all the things.
So it depends what you're using it for. If you're just making it as your background, you don't need a super thick gesso, just a nice coat. Just quickly coat over it like that. And now this will be good to go in a couple minutes after it dries. And then I also wanted to show black gesso. Sometimes you want to work starting with a black background.
Mm-hmm.
So this does the same thing. It protects your page and keeps it from warping. And then you can work with it like you would a mixed media paper or watercolor paper, or then you can paint on top of it. All of the other fun things you want to do.
Mm-hmm. I just used some of Vicky Bouton's gel crayons. I scribbled them on my craft mat, added water, and then I just dunked my whole notebook in it. And that's what I got there in the middle, like a really cool watercolor effect. And then I added a couple more scribbles, so now I'm going to blend those in there. And I'm just going to spritz a tiny bit of water and then blending in my finger. See, kind of just play with it, see what where it goes. Oh, that yellow is so pretty. What I like about these new gel crayons, it's less messy. Like it's a nice, it feels like a marker, like the container for it. It feels like a marker. Kind of like the Distress ones.
I had some extra black, so I'm just adding a little bit of black to some of my tags that I already had their backgrounds on them.
Oh, yeah.
I like just kind of working with a few different tags at a time and just adding to it as I go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fun. Also, a big part, at least that I do with when I'm doing mixed media, is I add a lot of just mark making.
Mm-hmm.
So here I just added some brush strokes. Not too planned.
Yeah. Kind of just go with the flow.
Just going with it, yeah.
So don't be afraid to try different
Yeah.
kinds. I usually like to do like lines or dots. Just to kind of start out with. If you don't know what to do, do a line, do some dots of some sort.
And while I have this black on my mat, I'm adding some water to it, and now I can use it as some black dots or speckles.
Mm-hmm.
So I just watered this down quite a bit, and now I'm just tapping it
I like
using
the
my
black.
finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stands out quite a
Yeah.
bit. I do white speckles a lot.
Yeah, I do too. The black is
but
like,
the
it's a
black
nice,
it stands
yeah.
out. It stands out differently.
I like it.
So yeah, that's nice. Just use what you've got going
Yeah,
with your page
use what
already.
you have.
And if you have extra medium on your mat when you're done, just try to use it.
Yeah.
Even that is cool. I stuck the back of my tag in. Maybe I'll do that. So this is my gessoed one, my white gesso. I'll just dip it in here quick. See how that looks.
Ooh, that's
So
fun.
yeah.
I just did distressed crayons. I scribbled them on my mat, added water, and then I just dipped this acrylic block, circle acrylic block in it, and then kind of like stamped it on my paper. So I got these cool circles. Aren't those fun? I'm gonna do that again with some other colors. They're like watercolor circles.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll put one like on a tab.
Keep wanting to add more to this one, but I
Yeah.
don't know. Also, a lot of these I'll go back and add ephemera or some writing or
Yeah, yeah.
other things to them too.
What is this color? Oh, peacock feathers. I love that one. Peacock feathers, broken china. What else do we have in here? Tumbled glass. And there's a little bit of bits and pieces of other things I've used because I didn't clean it off all the way. And that's okay to me. Like, might as well use what's left over. Some Vicky Boo in. And then I'm going to spritz it with water. And then take my acrylic block and just kind of like stamp it in there and then stamp my paper.
I just used
And
some.
you get cool watercolor circle. I
that.
like that.
That is cool. Use some black soot distress oxide to add a little bit of scripty look to this tag. And then I did some ghost prints of it, so I didn't re-ink it again. I just added
Oh, ghost prints.
some ghost prints, so it gets a little bit lighter each time.
Yeah. I like that look too. I like the look.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got a couple circles. Like they're very light, so I guess I could use darker colors. But just some light circles that you can, put some sentiments right there or tuck it behind photos or whatnot. That's fun. And then I have all this goodness still here. Don't want to waste it. I'm just going to take my cardstock piece and dip it right in there and see what you get. Ooh, liking those blues. I had some pink in there, so that's kind of mixing in.
I also wanted to use some, these are the Catherine Pooler blending brushes,
Yes.
which are very cool. Let's see.
Look at that.
Find some colors.
Very easy watercolor effect. Dead. I have all these things drying over here.
I know. I've got a lot set
a lot
up.
of things. What else should I play with?
Right.
I don't even know.
So I'm just going to start. I've got these 4 colors. Let's see. I've got Aged Mahogany, Festive Berries, Green Burrow, and Salvage Patina.
Ooh.
And then I have a brush that I usually use for pinkish, but that'll go with my reds, and then a brush that I usually use with bluish, that'll go with the blues. I do wash them off, but they stain a little bit, so that's why you can still see what color. And I'm just going to pick up a bit of ink and just lightly start blending it on here.
I go to grab a paper towel and just paint on it. That's not helpful. Just trying to clean a spot. I usually clean off when I'm gonna do a different medium or different color family.
Oh yeah, different color family, that's a big one.
Because you don't want to get things too muddy and
Yeah,
brown.
because if you start, like if you're
get
working with some oranges then go into blues, you're gonna get brown.
Yeah.
And there's quite a few colors that'll do that.
Yeah. I wanted to play with liquid acrylics. These are really fun from Prima Art Alchemy. So I have Crimson and Poker. And if I can open it. You don't need a lot of these. These are very pigmented.
Oh, got a little on
Did
here.
I just splash them?
Oh, so I got a little purple dot there.
Yeah.
Actually,
It was
purple
the paint, not me.
would look nice with this.
Oh, the top is, yeah. I'm seeing some on my arm. From our last class, I had white specks all on my arm.
Yeah, I guess this is just payback.
I'm gonna add a little bit of water too. I thought I felt a lid. Oh, I see it.
So, it just disappeared.
What do I want? I want something on brush. Let's see. Ooh, look how.
So there, that's a nice little background. You can just, and then I would definitely add to that a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this. It looks like a mess, but this is going to look so cool.
And actually, I did like that purple.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
You're gonna
add
add
some
it
of
to
that.
it?
Yeah. Just make a little spot there.
Ooh, look at that. That is fun.
And
You never know what you're gonna get. Like it's fun little surprise every time.
if you don't really know what marks to make, I would say make a border.
Oh yeah, borders are fun.
Make lines. You could do just straight lines. Make circles. Trace the shape of something.
Ooh yeah.
So like this, I just made a border, and I'm able to add whatever it is I
that's
want. Also splatters.
Splatters, always splatters.
Splatters are always a go-to. The nice thing with this, the liquid acrylic, is that once it's dried, it won't be affected by water anymore. So if you want to work on top of this again, you can. And whatever you laid out originally will still just stay there.
Yeah, I like it. Very fun to play with. I'm just kind of adding some
Always splatters.
splatters to all the
They're just
things.
so, splatters are amazing.
They're just so fun.
It's just the unpredictability of them.
Yeah.
I think it just makes them so cool.
Okay. What else? What else? Do we have more? Yeah. Okay. Grab a couple of these.
There's that. And then I can add more like collage to it later, or who knows, I'll do something.
I think I'm going to layer something on top of this. So I'm going to get kind of a nice watercolory background. And then I'm going to layer a stencil with some other kind of medium on top. So really big.
I have a pretty dark tag going here, and I want to lighten it up a little bit, so I have some white
Ooh.
pearl modeling paste.
Ooh, maybe I'll use that.
Yeah, and then I'm going to grab a stencil and add that to it.
Hand me the dryer. I don't feel like waiting.
No. Oh, let's step it up.
Oh,
Okay, so. Okay. Just going to lay that out and grab a palette knife. I know this stencil specifically has seen some better days.
we've used that
So
one a lot.
It
Yeah.
may not get a perfect image, but I'm okay with that.
It's more of a abstract
Yeah.
image. Well,
I don't know, it might surprise me. Last time I used it, it was like, oh, it got a little messy.
okay. Okay, this is pretty dry. And
It did pretty good. Into the stencil bath. And
what to use on this. I want something kind of shiny. Thinking glittery.
oh, well,
Ooh,
well, yeah.
glamour.
That reminds me
Glamour
too.
paste.
I also grabbed out some metallic flakes.
Oh,
I wanted to use some of
I
these.
love those flakes. I've
Yeah.
been adding them to all the things lately.
Yeah.
Be warned, they are a little addicting. Like,
So here's this. I actually like this tag now.
oh,
I
I
think
like
that-
it.
I
really
think
like
that's
that.
cool. So like if I wanted to finish this like as a more finished tag, I feel like I would add something in the corner, maybe like a sentiment or something. I might
Open this.
add a border.
Oh goodness, apparently we have not opened this one in a while. And it might have got some like dried stuff around it.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, okay, I guess I don't have to use that one, but
Make sure your seals are clean before you close it. I know a lot of times like, we get messy.
yeah. And when
And
you're
then-
like putting things
oh,
away
there
in
we
a
go.
hurry. Oh, yes.
Good thing I'm very strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just got clumps of this hardened on paste all over it.
Nice.
So yeah, I guess especially with this one, make sure you clean it off.
Yeah.
Ooh, there.
Ooh,
Ooh,
look at that.
worth it.
Worth it. So this is the Glamour paste from Stamperia. And I know this comes in a lot of different colors and things. I just grabbed the silver. This is so pretty. I may have to add this to some other pages too.
So with the metallic flakes, you use some gilding glue, and the best way to use this is, so how this kind of works is you let this glue dry, and it's still tacky when it's dry, and then that's when you add on the metallic flakes. I actually haven't tried adding this over a stencil before.
Oh, glue?
Have you? The gilding glue,
It will
like
make
over a
it really
stencil?
sticky.
The stencil? Or, well, I mean, so then you have like a design with your...
Oh.
With
Yeah,
your...
I mean that could work. You just wash your stencil
Yeah.
quickly before it dries on there.
I think let's try
I
that.
think it could work. Why not?
Why not? Let's
So
see.
pretty.
You have a good background one over there,
How
stencil?
about this? Or
Mm.
this?
I think maybe the dots.
That's
Yeah, let's try the dots. So I'm just going to make a puddle over here of this glue.
There's my Glamour paste.
If this doesn't work out, I will also show another way where
Another way.
that you more typically see it used.
Yeah.
So
We just like to try different things. I mean,
yeah,
a lot of times we just ask ourselves, why not? Why not try it this way or use it in a different way? Repurpose something or yeah, try it out. You don't know until you try.
yep, exactly.
And so you might make some messes
yeah.
or kind of some interesting pieces that you may or may not use, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's all the learning and just the playing and
Yeah,
having fun
the
with the
process of
product
it.
and yeah. Okay, so I added it through some circles, and I'll put it just straight into the bath. So that's on this one. I'm going to let this harden a little bit. Oh, I got some sort of paint on there. Didn't even use that color.
And
And then
funny.
I wasn't even using that.
Yeah. I'm running out
And
of space to put all my things.
and I'm going to add just a little bit around the edge. So again, I like adding borders to things. So I'm just going to add a little border here.
Love it.
And brush it down. Okay. And then let it dry. I will speed this drying a little bit using heat gun. I think also heat gun is a must-have for mixed media, especially when you're using a lot of different things, because it's annoying to have to just stop and sit.
Especially if you're layering.
Well, while you're trying to work and trying to get things going and see how it's coming together, and then you just have to just wait. So, yeah, I really like using heat tool.
Me too. We're very impatient.
Yeah.
So look at my little goodness here. I have prize ribbon. I have salvage patina and speckled egg. These three are going to look so nice together. And those are the colors I'm drawn to, blues and teals. And then I spritz water on it, and then I'm just going to take a tag and just smush it away. See what happens. And I'm going to kind of move it a little bit too. Ooh, look at that.
Ooh, that's pretty.
That is fun.
That is cool.
And then you can kind of like tilt it and let it drip.
Nice. I like that.
I like that.
That's
I think
just
that's
as is. Done. That's cool.
Don't mess
that's
it up.
Too cool. So you know this gilding glue is done when it's not white anymore. It's just clear, and it still will be very sticky.
Now don't sneeze when you're using these or cough, because these flakes will go flying everywhere.
Then you just grab some flakes and just tap it where you have your glue.
Oh, that's fun too. I think I might need more water. You can always add more water to things if it's looking a little too dry. Or if it's not blending very well for some reason, it's probably dry. Okay, that's fun too. So you get a different look every single time. I had zero plans for this. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. But I'm going to layer something else on top of that. Once it dries, which I'm probably going to just use the dryer.
This one, I had a large area to cover, so I just grabbed a chunk of it and just dabbed it on here. That just seemed the quickest way.
Yeah, hey, that works.
And actually that worked pretty well. And then I can grab a lot of this extra here and put it back in here. And even when this is like super tiny, you can still reuse it.
Yeah.
So I always try to save as much as possible.
I've also used this in I'll use it right now. I just sprinkle it on before my thing dries. Before my inks and paints. It will stick right on.
So it's super chunky right now. And
chunky.
to finish this, I'm grabbing a paintbrush. This one should work. I usually grab a little bit smaller, but. And just brushing over it. And this brushes off all the excess, and it also just kind of covers the area a little bit better. So like if you have an area that you missed, you can see it and add some more. There we go.
Another way is you can keep it chunky too. Like I'm gonna let that dry on there like that, and then just kind of I'll rub off a little bit of the excess, but I'm gonna keep it big and chunky.
Yeah.
Just for a different look. And I'm just using my fingers.
Okay. And so now all of this, I'm just going to take this and scoop it back in here.
Yes. And you will see it everywhere for days.
Yeah, because I'm also kind of putting it onto my lap right now.
Yeah.
That's where I mean the apron is definitely coming in handy. I would also recommend
An apron.
Feeling Crafty cherry on top apron. Okay, so let's see how these turned out. I think pretty good.
Ooh, I like that.
So, yep, just gives it a nice little shiny border. And on this one's the one that I used the stencil with. It actually did turn out pretty good. especially up here. You can see like the little dots,
Oh yeah.
and it gives it a little bit of raised texture as well.
Mm-hmm.
Over here, I think I added it way too thick
Mm-hmm.
and didn't really do it with the stencil as much, like hold down the stencil as well.
Right. But it still looks cool.
But you can, it still has like the dot texture
Yeah.
here. So
I like it.
use with the stencil.
I like
Tested here.
it. We test things for you, so you don't have to.
If this is too shiny, you can also use the waxes to tone down the shine. So like if you wanted it in the same color palette, this is the rich copper. Going to grab some of this. Again, use my finger. And you can rub it over it. And it just it takes off a little bit of that shine because it is very shiny. So you might not always want it all that shiny.
Right.
And this is also a good transition. So like if you want it going from super shiny to a little bit less. So like the rest of this edge, I want maybe just a little bit shiny. I can just add this to it.
I am mixing paint with this glamour paste just to kind of see what happens. Like, I imagine it would just kind of make this paint glittery.
Yeah.
I think. Thicken it up a little bit. This is fun.
So, here we go.
Add a little bit of this.
So you can, I don't know how well you can see, but this is what I added the wax to. So it's a little bit, it got a little bit deeper and it catches the light a little bit differently. And it's less like loud shiny, where this, it catches a whole lot of light still. This doesn't have any wax over it. This is just the flakes and very shiny. So you can play with it and make it more or less shiny based on what your project calls for. Oh, I know.
Sounds like sand. It's like gritty with the glamour paste.
I also wanted to show Sizzix has new creamy acrylic paints.
Oh yeah.
These
those
are
fun.
very nice. Yeah, I get why they call them the creamy acrylic.
They're very
because
creamy.
they're creamy. They're just
Yes.
like, they feel
Smooth.
nice. They're a little bit thicker than your regular acrylic.
Yeah.
But not in a chunky way at all.
Right.
It's very creamy. They're very smooth.
That's fun. Look at that on there.
So
See?
I'm just going to use this a little bit to, I don't know, add some more marks, I guess, to this. So maybe this time I'll add some circles.
And mine kind of like it seeped through the stencil a little bit, but that's okay. I can still see some really great texture. I like that look. But if you don't want it to seep through, use less liquid. Because I put in some of the Distress ink, which is very liquidy.
Usually whenever I add like words from a book, I always try to make it so you can't really read it.
Yeah.
So this will still need some more layers on it. But kind of just to show the creamy acrylic. It's very creamy. I'll do it on a more clean one. Here's a clean one. Clean-ish.
Clean-ish. Yeah.
Or actually, maybe on this one I'll add the blue. I really like the blues. Or this is the Arctic Sky. That's a perfect name for this color.
Well, this one got some. Sometimes your stuff will stick together, and actually, it's like a happy little accident. Let's see. I'm gonna sprinkle some color sparks on here.
You can see how nice and creamy this is.
Super creamy. Look at our hands. Love it.
Yeah, can't be too afraid of making a mess. Especially mixed media ink.
Right. So here's the color sparks on here, sprayed with water. And now I'm just kind of letting it drip around. Those are some fun drips. And that's why it's so nice to have a craft mat right here, because you can just drip it on here and then smush it back in if you want. That's fun.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty. Let's see.
So, yeah,
Used
is
a
there
lot
anything
of
else you want to
things.
do? Yeah, we use a
I don't
lot.
know. I feel like we've covered quite a few things. Unless anybody has any
Any other
questions or
Yeah.
anything they want us to see, or if they want us to demonstrate, or even if you'd want to see like how does this react with this.
Yeah,
or, yeah.
we'll try it for you.
Yeah.
So you can see.
But yeah, here's some of the tags.
Pretty, pretty.
Don't want to drip them in my wet paint. Yeah, I got some color sparks, got drips. We did acrylic paint. We did the different types of crayons.
Stencil butter.
Hey, look at all these. Oh, I did want to add more on this tag, but I don't know what to add, I guess. I could do
Another layer of something.
another layer of, use some acrylic paint through a stencil.
Mm-hmm. This is probably my favorite stencil butter. It's the turquoise one. You can see that. It's my favorite color for sure.
Oh, no.
And I love using these with stencils. They're creamy and they just spread on so well with a palette knife. You can use a brush too, but I just had this handy.
Just going to use this. And I'll use some of this creamy acrylic. And a palette knife.
I love that. I always love it when it turns out better than you think.
Oh yeah.
Like, surprise!
Surprise, you did a good job!
Surprise! Cool.
Oh boy, so this stencil I used with color sparks. So when I get it a little
coming
bit wet, it is transferring that onto my paint, which I'm okay with. I'll go with it.
Yeah.
It's all I can do at this point.
Right, right.
We'll see how this looks. Now I'm very curious to see how it'll look.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moment of truth.
Oh. So yeah, I was going to keep this mostly blues, but it's got that little bit of pinky
Yeah,
in there
a little
now.
bit pop.
But I am a-okay with that.
Unplanned color.
Yeah.
But hey, looks cute. Mm-hmm.
Also with these craft mats, what I'll do a lot is just let the paint harden there, and then you can use a palette knife to scrape it
Yeah,
up
scrape it off.
afterwards. And sometimes that's easier than
Right.
actually cleaning.
I've always wondered, have you used stencil butter with water?
I haven't.
I want to see how that reacts. I don't know, like, is
I
it
feel like it would turn into like a regular paint,
maybe?
just like a thinner, so you can use it more like a paint, like an acrylic paint.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it looks like it looks very watercolory.
Hmm.
All right, trying this out for you guys. See how this looks. Ooh. Yeah, that's fun. Very fun. And then on top of this, I'm going to layer something else. Maybe something white.
I want to block where this is getting wet, or actually where it's spray. So I'm just adding some paper around it.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to do a spray with the stencil.
Mm.
This is some rustic wilderness.
Perfect for the tree.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I'm just going to hold this down. Sprays can be a little bit tricky with
Yeah.
stencils. You want to not spray very much at all, and then still sometimes it's
Yeah.
iffy.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely going to get a lot of spray on my hand.
You could always like tape down your stencil.
Yeah, and then you won't have to spray your hand.
That's probably what neater people do, but we
I'm already a mess.
we don't do that. See how it looks. Ooh, that
So
turned
it
out
turned out pretty good. And
Yeah.
actually, my paint behind it is still wet, so it's smearing a little bit with that,
Yeah.
but I think that's fine.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm gonna use some of your page that got the splits on that. Use it on mine.
Let's see. I want to clean off my hand. A lot of times, just take a little paint or a little my dirty water,
Uh-huh.
and there we go.
There we go. My tag is still wet, so I'm just kind of sticking it right back on it. I probably would need to use a little bit of adhesive to that.
Can use
National
the
paste.
matte medium.
Yes. Yes,
Here.
where'd that go? Okay. Which has some color in it.
Oh.
It's usually white, guys, but
It's a little brown.
ours is not white. Okay. Well, we're probably gonna just keep playing here for a while, but probably should end our live soon
Yeah.
since we're going on
Yeah,
an hour and a half.
we've tried quite a few things,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there's endless more things
Yeah.
to try. Let us know what your favorite thing is, or what your favorite tip that we've given, or new thing we've shown you. Because we always like to learn more new things too.
Yeah, we
We'd
learn
love
every
to see.
time.
Yeah,
Like, what did this do with
Yeah.
this? And
Yeah.
how does this react with that?
we're all for testing things out.
Yes. Yes. So thank you for joining. This was so much fun.
Yeah.
We love getting messy.
Yeah, this is so fun. Hope you had some fun at home.
Yeah.
Hope you followed along and got a little messy, or watch
Inspired.
the replay.
Yes.
Get a little messy again.
Yeah. Watch again and again. Yeah, and tag us on social media so we can see what you're making and what kind of mediums you used. We love to see. All right.
So we'll see you next class.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.